Welcome, welcome, welcome to Clever Orbits on. I wonder which one this one's going to be about.
Hitch. Lilo and no, okay.
Lilo and Son of a Hitch. All right, so this one was great. This one was really entertaining. I enjoyed it a lot.
You're funny. Son of a Hitch is a proposed sequel that never happened by a Parks and Rec character. Tell me what you enjoyed about Hitch.
This movie is actually precious and beautiful. He supports men in sharing themselves in such a way that women open their hearts to them. And so there were some interesting moments, right? That were both moments of compassion and also just like they sort of the constellation that composes the symphony of this film for me. One of them was he really has the ability, this one, to love so deeply. You can see it when he orchestrates everything around it's been too many weeks. Whatever her name is. Allegra Cole. There we is. There we is. And it's so precious when she sees her relative's name. And then she screams and leaves, and he says, I saw this going differently in my head.
Yeah, you get it backwards. It's not Allegra Cole's character. Well, not Allegra Cole's character. Allegra Cole isn't the actress. Allegra Cole is the one that James
This is what happens when we
uh,
watch a movie
yeah.
and it takes 2 weeks before we record.
Yeah, next time we're going to take a month, okay? So make eye contact with me.
Let's
Kevin
stop.
James, the
Let's
guy
stop
who
doing
goes out
that.
with Allegra Cole.
We're gonna
Allegra Cole.
get on here and be
You're
like, what
talking about
movie?
Jennifer Esposito's character,
Oh, okay, yeah, there we go. So
or
anyway,
Ava Mendez. Fuck. I got it wrong.
whoever we got everything wrong. It's fine. I think our audience is pretty generous. So she says, "Give me a ring sometime," and that hit hard. I was like, "That's cute. That's adorable." And then
Mm,
let's see. Later on in this
proverbial.
thing, he says, "It's because of jerks like him that I even have a job." Of course, jerks like oh gosh, Michael Weston as an asshole. Wait, that's not the actor's name though.
Nope.
Um,
Jeffrey Donovan, who
Jeffrey
plays
Donovan,
Vance the pig.
Vance the pig. Yeah, it's because of jerks like that that I even have a job. Wow, so true and rich. Also like a punch to the gut. The fact that I have to do what I do as a dating and relationship coach, and that he does too in the film. Sorry, we cut off your head up there. That's fine though. Um, is is because culture is so sick and sad. And then the moment where the arc for the this guy um gets great is near
Left
the end
hand.
when he says that stuff worked for you, and he realizes that all he's ever needed was authenticity, and then basic principles, there are none.
There are none. Fade to black. End credit song. Roll. Long credits.
Yeah, so I gave it a
That's
10 out of 10, but we've got a lot of detail to dig into. What'd you think, man?
for what it was. I gave it a 10 out of 10 too. It's a 20-year-old film at this point, and seeing it again, it still holds up. I was talking to a bunch of other people in my personal life who have seen Hitch and appreciate pretty much all of Will Smith's work. He's an incredibly good actor.
Huh.
So no matter what he does, and no matter what's going on in his personal life, in apart from any work he's doing in the entertainment industry, he's still insanely compelling as an actor. And it was very easy to buy him as a relationship coach. This point in his career, 10 years before that, probably would have been a huge stretch. But at this point, it was really cool to see him like, yeah, I've learned a lot in the last 10 years as a person and as an actor.
Yes, so there's a whole conversation to be had about Will Smith at this point in his journey, playing this character, and like he's got a vibe, and I love the voiceover and the fourth wall breaking in the beginning, and um, how he was basically Steve Urkel from Family Matters in college, and a man born without game. And I also love how he's got martial arts. So I'm blending the character with the actor here. The real question is most of Hitch's game just really be Will Smith at some woman?
Wait, you said you cut out for a second there. Be Will Smith with
At at
at.
the
Okay.
prepositions are very important. Just you go and be Will Smith at someone, and then she'll fall for you. Like, I mean,
So you're really channeling our grandfather's love of the article at. You
most
listening at me, son? Yeah.
what
All
did
right.
he say?
So
What did he used to say?
yeah, that's what he used to say.
Hmm.
You listening at me? So yeah, no, at him. Yeah, that's the easiest assignment on the planet. The least believable thing was him being this dweeby Urkel kid after seeing how much like superstardom he achieved so young in reality.
He's got some good things to say, this one. So this is way before pickup artists and the seduction community made its debut through Neil Strauss with The Game. And this is the most interesting part of this film is how being a dating coach and a woman knowing that's who you are impacts your own dating life. Especially when it's like revealed in a not helpful way. Being outed with a terrible spin. Yeah. But you just wanted to work for them at the end. This movie is so precious.
Yeah.
Even Casey gets a date at the end. That was so nice. I was like,
Yeah. She
Hitch,
gets
man.
she gets the hunkiest date on planet Earth after she saves
Deserved
the
it.
guy's after she saves the guy's grandmother, and then you see it was probably, yeah, it was actually a plan. It was just him working with the grandma. It's like if you could like pretend to choke for a little bit and then we could work, you know. And he probably worked with Ava Mendez's character about it. He's like, we're
Well,
trying to get her a date after she had that bad experience with Vance and then everything that happened after that.
this is where it becomes a little tricky and interesting because he's sort of he's wicked smart, right? He's choreographing everything based on individual psychology, so he's more like a matchmaking dating coach. And
Yeah.
um and yet it even goes to the point where is he like conning women in the beginning? It's like I was like, what
In
is
the beginning, yeah, he's using a formula and he's trying to apply it like across the board, it almost feels like.
and it
And then
worked.
trying to tweak it slightly. It works most of the time. And then you got Albert Brenneman, Kevin James's character, and it's like, oh, there are exceptions, or no, this formula is the exception at the at the end of it. It's like, okay, I'm not trying to con these women. I'm trying to find people and then match them with the right people,
Yes. Yes.
essentially.
I like the stand that he takes later. Like
He's a dating website, is what he is.
he's not a dating website.
It's so disingenuous what I just referred to him
Yeah,
as.
that's so disingenuous. So I mean, that he does all this to support a man in getting with a woman who he's actually really attracted to and wants to experience something more than sex with, which is why it's so like doesn't work. Like and also why he's able to play the long game with Ava Mendez. Like he just walks away and lets her go completely after he first meets her and kind of is trying to get into, and then he has to be persistent with her. I love how persistent he is, sending like the thought he puts into sending the thing in the mail, and also when he says, "My clients actually like women," because the danger in what he does, his
Yeah.
skill, if applied on the dark side, is on both sides, right? He could help someone get one woman that they then, what is it he says? Get in, get off, get out. Oh. And then and then on the other side, he could be encouraging men and supporting them in what we used to call one-itis, right? Where a man is out there dating and relating, and then he falls for this one woman, but she's like inaccessible or something, and so he keeps reaching for her, and he keeps instead of going out and being with other women, just
Six eights.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, and so like. he could be playing into an individual's ego games, thinking they need one woman. So I would like to have seen an instance where he's trying to support somebody with one woman, and then as he's trying to support them, he sees that they're incompatible or it's not going to work out, and he's like steering them like away to where that, all right, now it's time to go look at somebody else, right? It's time to aim at something else. So anyway, you got something. Go ahead.
I was just thinking about when Kevin James threw his inhaler and then just walked up and then just put his face all adorably, like with his eyes closed, right up near Allegra, or not even near. Like I think he went the 10% he was supposed to give her, and then she went the 90,
Yeah, yeah.
which was so cute. And then what else was there that I wanted to mention? Because I'm all about little moments. I wanted you to mostly talk about this from your perspective because of your profession. And to find other movies that we could talk about that you would love that are in the same vein, because this is valuable information, and to see the kind of thing applied in this, it's very, I feel like it would enhance it just enhances the experience of the film overall for you. And if the audience gets some of it, like something out of this too, that's icing. Your thumb was so cut off by Hitch just now. It was like you had no thumb. It was like you held up a fist and you're like, yeah.
Okay, so then let's talk about this. Um, he says women respond when you respond to them. I absolutely agree. Be with the woman in front of you authentically, easefully, gracefully. Listen to her. Um, I don't know where this line was from in the film, so maybe you can help me place it because it's been two flipping weeks since we watched this thing. Let's never do that again. He says, "Thanks. Try to listen." And I put LOL. What was that from? Was that him coaching Albert or?
Thanks. Try to listen. Ah, I don't remember who he's talking to. It feels like he would be talking to Albert. Now I gotta Google this because that is such a generic line.
While you're looking for that which our audience now has to suffer through another 30 seconds of finding a quote because we didn't see it recently. He's very,
No, not 30 seconds, a minute and 30 seconds.
I'll just run through the rest of my notes. So he's very observant. The part when he puts the pen in Albert Brenneman's pocket and taps on it is so great. That whole scene was just amazing.
Yeah, that she doesn't see that someone else is putting a pen in his pocket for that whole excruciating 3 or 4 seconds. And then he's like, here you go. I got a pen for you. It
And
was
then
hilarious, but I was like, this is rom-com through and through.
And then the private tour, right? The private tour, anything for Hitch. Love that. That was great because that shows what kind of a reputation he's built socially and how committed he is to like leaving people better than he found them, and then also being a contribution.
Yeah.
Like that guy would not have that attitude towards him if he hadn't like gone out of his way to understand him, to listen to him, to add
Yeah,
value.
I like that it's not clear whether or not Hitch was just a decent person to this guy or whether he set him up with his wife, if he has a wife. Like it's just the way Hitch is.
Great. That's great. Um, and then I love how he tests the waters with walking close to her, both professionally and as a gimmick on screen. Like, yeah, you do tests for you do a kiss close test, you do a touch close test. These are the kinds of things that we would talk about. Close isn't really the best phrasing, but you're out of your mind. Michelangelo was too. I love that line. My business is 100% referral and thus untraceable. And I don't really remember this film from when I first saw it, but it's so good this time through. I mean, I do remember his allergic reaction when his face blows up. That
Yeah, played for laughs. Yeah, in order to humanize him as just like this person, as opposed to I'm following the formula and I've got her in the palm of my hand and I really like her. And now let's see where this goes. Maybe it's eternal happiness. Who knows?
Yeah, it's
But
interesting.
now he's got a face that looks like it's been stung by hundreds of bees.
Yeah, he
That's what shellfish can do to you, folks. You just got to be careful. Makes uncomfortable eye contact with the camera.
So his origin story, let's move on to his origin story with the ex-girlfriend. It's pretty believable though. I mean, not so hot guy, relatively low sexual market value, gets with a really hot woman. She's attracted to his character, but gets seduced by someone who cheats on him with her. And then he becomes avoidant attached, like because, and this is common, this is really common in the pickup community, is like a man who keeps actual love at arm's length because he was so burned by it at some point in the past, and yet he wants the taste of love. So he goes out and has sex and creates intimacy with lots of women, but never really lets a woman into his heart. And the more skilled he is at choreographing and maneuvering women into having sex with him, the stronger his sort of mask ego of being that high status, high value, high sexual market value man is fed, and the less chance there is of him ever actually being happy because he's just chewing on more, or excuse me, chasing more experiences and more variety. And this leads to the really brilliant quote: "It's difficult to see the forest through the sleaze." I thought that was so good. It was clever. The writer's clever. Oh, and then
Yeah.
the shirt thing where his shirt gets stuck in the taxi and he just has
He
to
just lets it go because it's a lost cause. I'm not hurting my body just for the sake of a shirt.
yeah, yeah. The physical
What?
comedy of this movie, like, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, when you hire someone like Kevin James too, you enhance the physical comedy across the board for the entire anything. Like for sure, you are going to have moments of goofy dancing and punching, and then, like I said earlier, him throwing the inhaler, just like screw it, I'm going for it, and I'm distracted. Are you? What in essential oil are you using?
Oh, it's peppermint. And I thought you were distracted by the fact that he seems to actually have an allergy. Oh, and we don't know what his employment situation is by the end of the film. Has he
That's
received
true.
has he received a severance package? Dun dun dun. Spoils the next episode of Clever Orbits. That's great. Oh, he got a haircut recently. I wouldn't have known that had he not gotten up to walk away. Okay. So, this
That
part
was
at
just for effect. I actually love Severance. Anyway, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. So that part at the end where where he's telling her, "It makes me feel like I can fly." It's probably codependent. Probably a little bit too much, but I buy it enough. I cried during this film.
It's
I wanted them to
it's
succeed.
a very short term sort of like romance is blossoming kind of thing. There was a reason this film was released around Valentine's Day of that year because it's to cater to all of those. All right, let's cuff for the spring season and then decouple, as it were, and go our own ways. I don't know. That's a concept that's more used nowadays than anything else. I'm sure it was referred to in different words back in 2005. But yeah, no, I all I saw was lust this entire film. There's love at first sight, but for some reason, I've only ever understood love at first sight to be mostly lust. Sure, there's love. Sure, you can experience love. You can experience it quickly, but there is a big physical attraction associated with it if you're not like 1,000% compatible with that person.
So I'm on the knife's edge, right? Because I have clients who come to me who want to have more experience sexually, and whether they're virgins or just haven't been on the dating market for a long time, or whatever. I'm not going to say it's intrinsically immoral for someone to seek sex, so long as they honor the person in front of them and are upfront and clear about their motives. And yeah, most people, when it's love at first sight, I think it was Neil Strauss in The Truth, an uncomfortable book about relationships. He says, if you see someone and you're experiencing love at first sight, run in the other direction because more than likely, your wound has found a compatible wound to hide itself from itself in. I added that last part. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. There are people who have love at first sight. It's just most people are traumatized and yeah. So
Face that I did not recognize, almost like you remember when mom used to do this when she would get like frustrated and almost angry. She'd go like she'd have her tongue pursed between
yeah,
two lack of lips.
yeah.
I was like, I saw that I had maybe chuffed an edge there, and I was like, this is going to be a perfect response. And then I thought, okay, that was a good compliment to what I said because it more clearly elucidated what I was trying to get across. So I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That was complimentary. But yeah, no, run the other way. Uh, Good advice for anyone that hasn't begun to try to heal themselves first. And I know I'm being very general, but if you if you try to find what you're looking for in someone else, obviously this has been said hundreds of times, hundreds of different ways by much smarter people than me. But if you try to find what you're looking for in someone else, you're not going to find it. You have to look within yourself. That's it. That's all I got. Go ahead. I'm distracted by the light in your glasses. It's reflecting in such a way that makes me think you always had halos,
I do. I am actually an angel. So, all right. He says, of course she's gonna lie to you.
or you're receiving an eye exam.
Of course she's gonna lie to you. She doesn't even know you yet. This is interesting, right? Because it's to some degree true. And it's not an accusation, it's an observation that you got to build rapport before the door opens enough for her to be willing to get to know you deeply. And so if you express your desire for her too quickly, she will react as if it's just physical because it probably is. And she gets enough of that. So I also like when he says she said yes when she could have said no. It's no longer your job to try to make her like you. It's your job just not to mess it up. I love that. That's great. And 3 dates is
Yep.
all I need. Like, yeah, probably. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Nothing substantial to add there, but yeah, I found that personally to be true as well. She could have said yes when she said yes when she could have said no, and now it's your job to just not mess it up. Just be yourself, but don't come on too strong.
So, let's see, what else do we have? After that, you're on your own. I think this could be solid business or irresponsible. A solid business meaning he's just a dating coach. He's not a relationship coach. So he's not there to maintain the thing. And yet, his friend talking about relationships says, all right, you're all about the short game. You pick the shots based on what you see first, not what's best for you. And you're having trouble going beyond anything physical. And it's like, it is true because there's a little bit of healing he hasn't done yet around his experience that led to him being sort of masked up as someone with avoidant attachment. You can see how much he loves and cares and leans in. I want to see what happened in his childhood, honestly, because he probably had a mom who wasn't available, who he took really fucking good care of emotionally. And then he doted and devoted upon this woman who was not worthy of it in college, and that hurt and broke his heart, and he closed his heart and turned into this more on the line in the spectrum of like a player. And I mean, he's not quite a player, I don't know. We never get a strong, clear sign that he can create sex for himself easily and that he's okay with doing that. He seems to have a heart. I love the scene where he's got all of these like
Bees.
these pictures on the wall that he's taken off the wall of men who are in relationship thanks to him. And I'm like, yeah, that. I love that. I love helping people.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the extent to which he's willing to follow up and remain in contact. Is like I'll take the pictures to remind myself that I did light the spark that led to whatever is happening now for this person. Good
Yeah.
at lighting the spark. Uh, as far as maintaining that flame, uh, I haven't learned how to do that.
Well, I think he assumes generously that his people will figure it out on their own. Like, you don't need me beyond that. Give me 3 dates and then you're done. And because it's about getting into relationship with these people, and it's also him mapping the limits of his own expertise. Because yeah, he was in relationship in college, and then at one point it stopped going well, and so yeah.
So it makes all the sense in the world that he's not a relationship coach.
I mean, have you seen your back? That quote. That was great. Abrupt.
Yeah, that's a 40-year-old virgin vibes. It's like, of course we're gonna have a waxing scene.
That came later. That actually came later.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
yeah,
so, but yeah, I get what you're saying. The set pieces are delightful. Date Doctor My Ass, LOL. That it didn't work. It's like what? Um, the jazzy prelude to Kissing Allegra. That was funny. I had an LOL for that.
yeah. That's typical rom-com music that just sort of it's subverted by the fact that he's trying to follow a script, but instead he needs to be himself. Keep going.
Yeah, and I like the go 90% of the way and let her and then hold because that kind of, you give her a sense of participation. The kiss thing about she knows so much about the relationship from the kiss, I think it's made up. I didn't chat GPT about it because it was like, I don't even know. Um, I've never heard of it before. So, all right, let's see.
Shrug. There are none.
Tomorrow night, Allegra Cole could have her last first kiss. I thought that was so cool, man. I thought just the idea of a last first kiss
That's
and
pretty sweet.
yeah. And then begin each day as if it were on purpose. That's cool. Like absolutely resonate with that. And then when what's her name? When Hitch falls asleep at her house and then he wakes up before her and then she wakes up. I love how she fixes first and then slightly messes up her hair so that it looks like she just got up. Still trying to look good for him. It's great.
I
Yeah.
like the idea that she thought he had left, but then he actually came
Yeah.
back with breakfast, and then yeah,
Yeah, I love how he choreographs things to
it
show
was
her
a coffee. Yeah,
yeah, it's fine. And have her feel important, but he also waits for her to open up energetically and emotionally, and he has no rush whatsoever. Like he's not pushing for sex, he's not pushing for a makeout. He's just enjoying the process of this organic, holistic unfolding of two personalities. And like to that degree, he really knows what he's doing. And he also knows like he's playing with the classic 3 date formula that I think was floating around in the blueprints of a lot of people, at least in the 90s and early aughts, where it's like, all right, the first date you get to know her, second date maybe you kiss, third date maybe you have sex. And like it's okay that our culture has like this story that that's how things work. It doesn't need to always work that way, and you're not stuck in that. And there are some dating coaches who would say the dating frame is fundamentally built to to fucking bankrupt most men. Like, all right, the man has to prove he's got status and resources through buying dinner. He's showing off his riches and success, and like, oh, if you can't do that or do that well, then you're out by the second date or something. At which point, is it we were talking about in Catch Me If You Can, like what's really going on there? Is it women who have internalized the capitalist system of status and value, or is it a biological evolutionary thing? We don't know. So I mean it helps. It helps to be wealthy and successful, or to some degree, right? At least higher than her, and taller than her, and older than her. That will generally give you a benefit and the advantage. Um, yeah, so I mean, the only other thing I really have to say is the only time I've been on a jet ski, my friend Kirk taught me, and I fell off of them pretty crazy easily. Luckily, I had a vest. And man, jet skis are fun, but they're tricky. And it was entertaining to see people on jet skis without being on a jet ski myself.
Yeah, so you don't have to suffer the embarrassment, and you didn't even get kicked in the face. Huh, that's
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah. Did she kick him in the face? I didn't. That was
Other way
part.
around, brother.
Oh, he kicked her. Oh, okay. Wow.
Accidentally. Yeah, yeah. He was trying to get over there, and he just
So, let's see. Did I cover anything? Did I miss
Ooh.
anything? Um, yeah, no, I think that's actually it for me. Other than impressed with him maintaining the frame. And at some point there's like an actor dancing in the street. Was that Albert Brenneman? That had to have,
Yes,
yeah, okay.
yes, absolutely. Especially after the first kiss he had with. That's right. What about that line? That cheesy line that he gives to Ava Mendez's character, Sarah Milas, after she's figured out he's the dating coach.
Oh yeah.
That, yeah, never lie, steal, cheat, or drink. But if you must lie, lie in the arms of the one you love. If you must steal, steal away from bad company. If you must cheat, cheat death, like Kirk. And if you must drink, drink in the moments that take your breath away. So cheesy.
I thought that was all right, especially if he made it up. I'm pretty satisfied with it.
I mean, I like it. I'll shoot, it would work on me. Hmm. But yeah.
That's fun. All right.
Hmm.
So yeah, 10 out of 10, man. Unless you got more. What do you want to say? What do you want to add?
I like movies that still hold up and aren't so problematic. I mean, the part where the part where he seems overly incensed that Kevin James ends up kissing him in public, that maybe didn't age too well, but other than that, everything seems to be like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. And with my little teaser trailer, people know that Severance is coming next, literally tomorrow. Super excited about that. There's probably more we could say on the dating coaching side about this film, but that's pretty much all I had. Like it was entertaining. There was some stuff that was smart. It was a fun movie, and he evolves. I'll say this last thing. He evolves as a dating coach by the end, but I don't think he's thrown away his whole profession or all that he knows. Like I think,
Yeah, he just changed the way that he does things. He's not a relationship coach still. He's just someone who can help someone else have a fighting chance when it comes to trying to ask out someone you have a crush on, or like finally go on that date and just see where things go from there. Light the spark. Yeah,
um, would you rank it?
I gave it a rank.
We back to that form, man.
What form? I didn't
Where
fill out a form.
when you come up
Just
with
kidding.
non-ratings that are non-informative and quantitatively information dense at a level of 0%.
What's funny is that this movie could have been used as sort of a verb. It's like, oh, we're trying to get hitched this weekend. And they're like, oh, you getting married? No, we're just going to see a movie. for Valentine's Day, and then we're going to dinner, and then we're gonna go for a long walk on a beach, making this sound boring. Mm.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know. Funny, his name is Hitch. Why is his name Hitch of all things?
I mean, yeah, that is curious. It's almost a nom de plume. I was
Exactly.
coaching someone whose last name was Ares, like the Greek god, and I was like, "Is that up?" And they were like, "No, that was a real name." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
cool."
Ares and Hannibal. They're real names for real people that you can meet in 2025.
Your last name actually Hannibal.
Oh no, their first name's Hannibal. One of my favorite comedians, his first name is Hannibal.
Wow, that's fun. All right,
Did you
well,
just like slow way down? What just happened to you?
what just happened was I started thinking about the Chikai Bardo. It's a reference to the soul experiencing death and the liminal state that could lead back to the cycle of suffering and rebirth, or the opportunity to see the light and escape.